So let's see if this actually works now. I talked to Joe B, and him and boss are starting a podcast, and he's sending me logos and stuff. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna be the most unprofessional podcast ever.
Many months later.
If you want to watch the anti-Semitic intro, you're gonna have to pay up and join locals.
Dude, this is before I got my teeth fixed. That's how old that video is.
Yeah, I could tell you're purposely trying to hide them behind your
Yes, before I got my teeth fixed, man. Holy cow.
How did he find that?
I mean, it's up on the channel. You just go back to like those first few videos. I had a huge gap in my teeth, and the camera was so bad. Like I have gray in my beard, but the camera, like the camera that Rob told me to get, like kind of like hides it. And I have the lights way dimmer in here, so you can't see how gray I really am. But yeah, you see how gray I am with how bad my teeth were. So all right, so we hit 60,000 subs, and that's why Taffy put that intro video up, and it's pretty interesting. So now we have Enoch on and Samuel. Now Samuel has been an OG listener since like the trivia days.
He would wipe the rest of the audience.
Like,
He'd wipe the floor with them.
I never gave him a prize ever. Right?
No, you did. You got a prize once.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I think I actually have it here.
The little holy water keychain, was that it?
No, that one was promised to. It never came my way. It was the practice of the presence of God.
Oh, yeah. I loved giving that book out.
Right here.
Yeah. I loved giving that book. I love giving that one out, and Humility of Heart. Humility of Heart, we gave a ton of those out. But and then Enoch is putting out his last album, and he's got a little fundraiser. And the thing is, Enoch doesn't do it because he wants to make money. Like, he has to pay features, and he has to pay for the beats, and he has to pay, like, he's really just trying to recoup the money he laid out. And I would really, really, really like it if the Avoiding Babylon audience could come together and help push him just to recoup what he laid out. And Enoch's been a friend of the show since the trivia days, right? I mean, Enoch, you were on trivia a bunch of times, right?
A couple times, yeah.
And Enoch being on the show is how my cousin's wife recognized him when they moved to Kentucky, and now you and my cousin are like family now. You're godfather to his kids, and it's kind of interesting how much this show has like brought relationships and friendships into our lives. How many people we've met, but Samuel's got a book out through Tan. So Tan reached out to us a couple of weeks ago. And they were like, "Oh, we have an author," and they put a book together, and they compiled all the traditional matins, just the matins from the breviary. I hate saying breviary. Is that right? Breviary.
I think it's a breviary. Yeah,
breviary or breviary.
It's breviary, but yeah,
breviary. So he compiled all the traditional matins into one book. They made it a hardcover. So they asked us if we would have the author on, and Rob's like, "Yo, that's Tobias, dude. He used to be on trivia with us." So we figured this was a perfect episode to have you both on. We want to get Enoch's fundraiser done, and if you guys would shoot over to Tam Books and get the Matins Lectionary, that would be awesome too.
Both links are in the description as of right now. So
yeah, guys, buy my Matins book and give money to Samuel so he can put an album out.
That's right. Dropping the 6 beats.
This is one of those "Where Are They Now" episodes from the trivia days.
Basically,
dude, it is kind of just wild how hitting 60,000 was kind of it was kind of strange for us because we started the show out, and even when we we did trivia for a while, then me and Rob started doing interviews, and then when Tim Flanders on Meaning of Catholic had 16,000 subscribers, he let us do trivia on his show, and we were so excited that we were going to get to go on a channel that had 16,000 subscribers. Like, we were like, dude, we're going to get huge. Like, he's got 16,000, and that show never did better than 1,000 views on Flanders' channel.
And I accidentally made a "your mom" joke on the Meaning of Catholic.
Yeah, you totally did. But it was fun doing it on Tim's channel. And And then, oh man, we met all those guys over there. That's really how like we developed the friendship with Kennedy, even though they had the falling out, Kennedy and Jeremiah. Like, there's been so much drama in the Catholic YouTube world over the past few years. But now we're at 60,000. We went past Tim Flanders. We went past Kennedy Hall. What's Gordon got?
Oh, hold on. I got something. Hold on. Pulling something up here right now.
Gordon's in the 50s, isn't he?
Wow, that's a big
Let's
go.
Just FYI, that guy's not married.
He's not. So like we were at like 3,000 subs and he had 16. I mean, you Catholics at 22,000 now, and we're at 60. I'm just
here we go.
Bragging about 60,000 subs after telling us the last 20 episodes he doesn't care about growing the channel. I'm nothing if not a hypocrite. No, that is actually kind of funny, that meme. That's Jim Pine made that meme, and I thought it was a little tasteless. I didn't feel right responding to it.
But it's funny.
It is funny. What does Gordon have, though?
67.
All right, so we're not too far. We're trailing behind Gordon. We'll catch up to him. Remember when Eric Sammons, when I asked him to come on the channel the first time, I had like 300 subscribers, and he goes, "I'm not coming on your channel until you get 1,000 subs." And I was like, "Really?" And he made me wait until I got 500. So I got the 500, and Eric Sammons came on, and then now Eric Sammons has what, 12,000? I'm not bragging, but I'm bragging. I mean, it's like a humble brag, guys. I'm just saying, like, this show managed to build an audience at a time when everybody else seemed to be plateauing, and I'm very, 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 very happy that you guys spend your time with us. Someone should congratulate Ant. He's too humble to do it himself.
Congrats, Ant.
No, seriously, congrats, guys. It's very well deserved. You guys are the best out there, and it's not even close, honestly.
So what can we talk about tonight? So the title of the show is actually inspired by my wife. My wife watched Father Ripperger's Shawn Ryan interview, and I've tried to give her Ripperger interviews before, but this one like captivated her. And she watched the whole Shawn Ryan interview, and then she said, I got home from work today, and she's like, I've been watching Father Ripperger all day. I'm like, I've tried to get you to watch Ripperger so many times, but for some reason, the Shawn Ryan interview made her want to dig deeper and go and check out other stuff. She's like, I can't believe you had him on your show. She probably didn't watch that episode. She probably didn't even watch our Ripperger episode. But then
probably not.
She probably didn't, right? And then she said, she's like, I don't know. I like came across Gwen Stefani's conversion story. And I know that's through Hallow and stuff, but then you see the Joe Rogan clips are all out there. And she's like, I don't know. She's like, it just kind of feels like there's like something happening in the culture right now. Like Joe Rogan for years was talking about doing acid trips and DMT and things like that, and now he's talking about going to church and being not quite sure what he would call himself. So you want to play that Rogan clip real quick, Rob? I put it in the Telegram. I think it's the first one. Schellenberger asks him straight out if he's a Christian, which he gives the Jordan Peterson like kick the can down the road answer.
Okay, give me a second here.
Yeah, that's the thing. Enoch's music, it's like, because there's so much corny Protestant rap out there. Enoch, what I do with your music is when you put an album out, I actually just I download the album into my music catalog, and then I just play songs randomly. And every once in a while, like I don't do a deep dive into your album right away usually. And then every once in a while, I'll just have my songs on rotation, and a song will come on, and I'll just be like, "This is the most amazing freaking." And then I'll wind up calling you on the phone, and I'm like, "Why'd you put a feature on this song? This song's amazing. Why is there another artist on this song? I want you to make a new version of this one without the other artist on it."
Yeah, no, I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, the Blood of the Martyrs goes great in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
probably my favorite song you've made.
Thank you. Yeah, that was inspired by all the the Christians in the Middle East that are being persecuted. My people.
I feel like most Catholics listening to your music don't actually They don't understand how intricate you're being with your lyrics sometimes. Like, I don't know. I like when you put the videos out where your lyrics actually flash up on the screen and you can actually see the things you're saying. But so many people miss the double entendres you're putting. And look, even Molly listens to your music.
Dude, Molly and her husband, man, two of the coolest people out there, man. I love all their stuff, and he is. I laugh every time he responds to these protestants. Man. He's just so
Dude,
funny.
he puts
He
in
just
work,
destroys
man.
them.
He puts in work. I'm actually surprised that Catholic Answers hasn't asked him to do some kind of online thing for them. Like, he's very thorough in he never does like anything like I do where I like mock anybody. He's very thorough. He'll take a screenshot and then he just very thoroughly goes through it. It's actually pretty amazing. I love following Mr. Casey.
Yeah.
But all right, let's do the Rogan clip and we'll see what you guys think of it.
Okay, here we go.
Wes Huff told me was that the book of Isaiah that they found in the Dead Sea Scroll predates the oldest version of the book of Isaiah by more than 1,000 years.
Whoa.
When they found it, they found out that there was a book of Isaiah that is 1,000 years older than the one they thought was the oldest one, and it is verbatim. It's verbatim from the one that's 1,000 years later.
Wow.
Which is kind of crazy.
Wow.
But then it's also in the same fucking caves as the book of Enoch.
Sorry for the language.
It's all together there in the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Amazing. I mean, we've had this. We've been fed this story that sort of all of these religions and myths from the past are all just false.
Right.
They're all just hallucinations.
Right.
They're all just lies.
I don't believe that.
It's just really arrogant, actually. Like, it's like, well, no, now, like, we've been around for, humans have been around for like millions of years, but the last 150 years, it's like we really figured it all out. And we figured out that all human knowledge before, whatever, some recent time period is nonsense. Yeah, I think that's quite arrogant.
It's very arrogant, but I'm a believer that history is far older than we think it is. And I think the more time goes on, the more that gets revealed. So when you're talking about something that's 4,000 or 5,000 years old, I think really you're talking about a retelling of a far older story. And I think it's very difficult when you're dealing with people that don't have an understanding of science. The written language is fairly new. It's an oral tradition for generations before it's ever written down. So my question with all this is always like, what were they trying to talk about? What were they trying to say? What was the original experience that someone documented in story? And then that story was relayed.
Pause it real quick. Because, I mean, I obviously don't agree with what he's saying, but like, if you go back to Tolkien and C.S. Lewis, that conversation they had, right? You could read about it in Surprised by Joy, C.S. Lewis's book. They were talking about myth and talking about how in all these different cultures, you had all these like fairy tales popping out, all these myths popping up in these different cultures, and they're very similar stories. And Tolkien explains to C.S. Lewis that the reason why is because foundational to every, like, God's law is written on every human heart, and they're all like echoes of the gospel being told in all these different cultures. So that's why you'll see these different fairy tales pop up, that all these different cultures, even no matter how far apart they are, they're kind of telling similar stories.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah, because every true story is a participation in the one true story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that actually winds up leading C.S. Lewis to see that Christianity is the one true myth, which Michael Hitchborn hates when I say, but I really stole it from Lewis, where it's like, it is a myth where it's like your civilization can be built on it. It just happens to be true.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I disagree with Michael's use of myth.
Yeah. If you keep going in the clip, Rogan will get into, he'll get into when he gets asked the question.
And over again, generation after generation, until it's eventually written down, and then they study it and take it literally. And then also translating it from Aramaic, which is the Dead Sea Scrolls, ancient Hebrew, all these different languages, to Latin and Greek and eventually English. Like, but what's the original story? Like, what are they trying to document? What is this important knowledge that they want to share? And how screwed up would that get over the generations and generations of talking about it? But what ultimate truth is in there? Like, I'm absolutely fascinated by the story of Jesus Christ.
This is where I wanted to pick
because
up
if
on
you
what I put
wanted to come,
Why did you include the first 2.5 minutes?
it was just somebody's tweet, and I didn't, but this is where I wanted to pick it up, where he talks about Jesus. This is actually like where the clip gets good and relevant.
Don't worry, we'll edit that part out.
I don't know. Oh, you guys, I'm at work.
come up with a way that people would live that would absolutely be far more beneficial than just going on natural instincts and tribal behavior, and you would follow Jesus's teachings. Like, I can't find a flaw in the way he tells you to live life. There's a lot of religions that involve, torturing non-believers and raping infidels and being able to do terrible things to the people that don't believe your religion. There's none of that in Christianity. It's all forgiveness. It's all treating your brother and your neighbor as if they're you. Like, it's a beautiful way to live life.
Are you Christian?
Well, I go to church, and I have been for quite a while.
Okay, so
I've been doing it for the last 3 or 4 years.
But that's not really an answer to the question.
Well, because I don't know. I think it's very interesting, and I do believe that if you follow the teachings of Jesus Christ, you will live a better life. I really do believe that. And one of the things I talk about is, like, the people that I go to church with are the most fucking polite people I've ever met in my life. They're so kind and so nice, and everybody lets you out of the parking lot. Everybody's like, you go. It's like the one, like, it works. You know what I'm saying? Like, if people are trying to find an idea, does that mean I believe?
My wife was asking me if there's something happening in the culture, and like, part of me wants to believe there is, but another part of me is so cynical that I'm worried that they're putting like a sanitized version of Christianity out there that is. It's basically the like the sanitized Vatican II version of, like, just be nice to everybody, don't worry about it. But it's not like I don't know, it's not real Christianity that puts any challenges in people's lives or challenges them to live really radically differently. It's kind of just this Jesus guy. I won't say that I'm a Christian, but I can't find any flaws in the way Jesus said to live.
I mean, you just described 90% of American Protestantism,
Yeah.
Like, that is what American Christianity is for the most part, unfortunately.
I wonder how much of it is. Would you say, Ant, that sometimes that's the door into people finding the deeper truth? I mean, didn't we all come in a certain way? I mean, I was a Catholic answer, type of Catholic when I first came in. There's a statistic that the majority of Gen Z boys that are entering, finding God is to the Catholic Church. You could kind of point that towards Nick Fuentes and people like that who are, the Goipers are coming, they're finding the Catholic Church in that realm. So I think what happened in 2020 was really a huge awakening for a lot of people, and especially Rogan, because you can kind of start seeing a transformation through him from what he was going through. I think people have just lost trust from all secular institutions, and they're finding a deeper conversion. So
that, and I think that, like, because evil is so out in the public eye now, right? Like, evil is just so blatant at this point that I think even a guy like Rogan has to step back and go, I don't know, man, this, whatever the heck we were doing before, we got to go back to, because the things that, like, the new atheist movement made everybody think that the idea of God is silly and made a mockery of Christianity, and the religion that popped up in its place is so diabolical and so demonic that it's just kind of in our faces now. And I think people are starting to, like the recognition of evil is making people say, well, if the devil's real, then God's got to be real also.
Right. It's they're seeing the truth by way of contrast. As soon as we start entering an increasingly post-Christian society, they realize exactly how Christian the life was that they're leaving behind, and they realize that they miss it.
Yeah, I remember my my older brother one time was who doesn't go to church or anything, and he was driving one day, and somebody put like a billboard up that had Jesus on the billboard, like Jesus's face on the billboard, and my brother was like, I don't know, I saw the billboard and I missed Jesus. Like so he had these fond childhood memories, right? And he spent all this time away from the faith. And then he just saw the face of Christ, and he just like had this yearning for him. And he like admitted to me that he missed him. And it's like that kind of goes to that a little bit. But also, yeah, I think that they're starting to realize that religion is kind of inevitable, and there is something in man that God created us to seek God no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't seek the true God, you're going to seek a false God. Like that's how I've always understood. Oh God, right.
I was just gonna say they've seen the religion that's risen in religion's place, and they don't want any part of that.
Right.
So now they have to look at the alternatives.
Yeah, what was woke if not a religion, right? Like that was
exactly.
legitimately a religion. And I think in some weird way, the woke stuff turned people to Christ.
Yeah. The demons sometimes can overplay their hand when they're running out of time, to be honest with you. And I think they overplay their hand in this case. So I think Sam is right. In contrast, people are finding, in my personal opinion, at the end of the day, America is either going to go secular atheist or Catholicism. I don't think your everyday Protestantism is going to last.
I agree with that. I agree. I don't think everyday like your regular Protestantism will last, but I don't think secular atheism lasts. Like I think some warped thing comes about, and my wife was she influenced a lot of this show, guys. I'm sorry, but she told me like she'll be just like she'll have somebody that she likes watching, and then all of a sudden it was like all in unison. These were just like bland shows that she was watching. They had like they were cooking shows and things like that, like girls cooking and doing recipes. And then out of nowhere, like 3 of the girls she was watching all of a sudden started talking about being witches. And it was like at the same time. And she was like, wow, I can never watch this again. This is crazy. I think I'm watching something to help me cook. And then all of a sudden this girl starts talking about being a witch, or this one's talking about crystals, and this one. And it happened like all in unison the way that went down. And she was so taken aback by it that she's like, you need to tell me what I can watch. Like my wife was like, send me things to watch, because I don't even know what I could watch anymore. All this stuff is so degraded and demonic at this point.
Have you shown her Corso? It's good for her.
What is
Corso? Have you shown her that? You
can ask. Are you making a joke right now? Because I never know it.
Melody,
I never know it. Enoch.
Melody's pretty good at that. You can ask Melody about Corso.
Are you saying Corso?
Yeah, it's the Catholic yoga thing. I never know. I can see it on his face when Enoch's about to make a joke. It's just like this subtle look that goes on his face, and I know he's not being serious. Everybody is praising the Matins book. I want to make sure we do plug the Matins book. And I also, like I said, before the end of this stream, I want Enoch's fundraiser funded. I tried funding it anonymously the other day, and he yelled at me.
What's the progress at?
I haven't checked today.
Let me pull it up right now.
I think we're almost 50%.
Just about 1,800.
Yeah,
so almost 50%.
Almost 50%. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Come on, it's Enoch. Come on, man.
Yeah, going back to what you were saying, Anthony, if you don't mind piggybacking off of that, I think what's happening on X, at least from what I'm seeing as a person outside looking in, because I'm not on there. I don't post as much, but I do read a lot. If you look back at the Spanish, what was it, those who were ministering to the Mayans, yeah, they really fed them physically before they gave them the faith.
Yeah,
and I think that's how they earned their trust. And Christ did the same thing when he fed them the fish and the bread. And what I'm seeing is, if you are active on Twitter, which a lot of people are, you do see a lot of Catholics, especially brothers, grabbing at one another and fighting like we do as brothers. But man,
we never fight with other Catholics on this show. What are you talking about?
As soon as somebody is facing some type of trial, we come together.
Yeah.
You saw it with Sarah Grant. This is, I think today was her 30th anniversary of her passing.
Yeah.
You saw it with just
Trent Horn's wife.
Trent Horn's wife, Dr. Breeze. So I think people seeing that also contributes to me like, hey, maybe these guys are not that bad. I want to join this club where they can go pound for pound with one another, but when somebody's down, they just back them up. So the more that happens, I think the more we end up winning souls.
Yeah. Man, it's especially in this digital world though, like the lack of community. I think when people do see like somebody gathering around somebody that's in trouble, and you should do it with anybody, but especially when you see another Catholic is in need, we all really should rally around that person. But it's and then the other one, but yeah, because there was one other clip I think I put in there. I don't know if it was that different. Nah, I think it's the same clip. Or maybe it's not. Play the other one, Rob. Let's see what it is.
Okay, let me grab it here. The one from Danny?
Yeah, play it. I don't know. I didn't even listen to this one. I just saw he put it up. Because Rogan's such an interesting test case because of the way he used to talk versus how he talks now. And it probably was COVID that initially started it. And then, but even with Jordan Peterson, like what Enoch was saying about how because I used to like Peterson because I thought he was kind of a gateway into Christianity. Like he took the biblical stories very seriously. And even when he would do his Bible lectures, they weren't theological. They were very like psychological. Like he would do it from like a psychoanalytic way. But he would talk about how Abraham, he would do it from like a story arc kind of way. And how if you follow these themes through scripture, like the great adventure that Abraham goes on, like the challenge to go do something ridiculously difficult, and that's actually like the adventure of a lifetime, even though you're going to hit obstacles along the way and they're going to be super challenging. And I think it made people start like looking at the Christian story differently and not just writing it off as some crazy stupid fairy tale from 2,000 years ago and this book is irrelevant. And even when you get to guys like Alex O'Connor now, who's still an atheist, but he doesn't engage Christians in the same way. He engages it in a much more serious way. I mean, he had Dr. Brant Petrie on. He's talking to people that he probably never would have a few years ago. So maybe these things are stepping stones into Christianity, or maybe Alex O'Connor is just trying to pull a Christian audience. And I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Okay, we ready to play it?
Yeah, let's see.
Mm-hmm. Christianity in particular is the most fascinating to me because there's this one person that everybody agrees existed that somehow or another had the best plan for how human beings should interact with each other and behave, and was the best example of it, and even died in a non-violent way. Like, didn't even protest, died on the cross supposedly for our sins. Like, it's a fascinating story. It's a historically documented human being. That's where it gets weird, because there's a universal depiction of what this human being was like that doesn't seem to vary that much between all the people that knew him. That gets weird. Who was Jesus Christ if it was a human being? What was that? That's wild. If you don't have something to believe in, if you're just relying on your whims and your, whatever you think is the moral thing to do, then you know what you get? You get those people that are unable to answer the question of whether or not you should protect an unborn fetus, whether or not they have human rights. No, they don't. They just like, that's what you get. That's what you get when you have no religion. I just
like Rogan's going around on abortion
to dismiss all these stories as being useless.
Totally.
I think they were trying to say something. The deeper you dive into it, the more interesting it gets.
I used to love all that new atheist stuff.
Me too.
He's talking to a Jew.
Fell apart.
He's talking to a Jewish guy.
Huh.
Right? That guy from Trigonometry is Jewish.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I think that guy from Trigonometry is Jewish for sure. But this is, I don't know, because like the fundamental question starts with, is there a God? And if so, how would he reveal himself to us? And then the next question is, who was Jesus Christ? Like, who was he? And it sounds like Rogan's wrestling with that problem. I know, you don't want to elevate like celebrities to all of a sudden being like, the emblem of Christianity or anything. But it is interesting that he's
I'd maybe vote for Shia for that though at this point.
Yeah, I'll take Shia over Rogan any day. But it is interesting to see a guy with a huge platform of largely secular atheists watching his show, watching him grapple with these questions on a deeper level. And you never know what's like, how many people are listening to that and they're going, wait, maybe I should take this story a little more seriously.
Yeah, I think his surprise seems pretty genuine. He seems to be genuinely struck by the mystery of who was Jesus. Why is he so consistent in history, and how is his message such a thing throughout history? I think his wonder is infectious. People are going to be curious because of him.
I think so too. Now, this is also a risk. Like that's there is that version of Jesus being presented, right? That's kind of the sanitized version that I worry about. I saw a clip of Frad and Brian Holdsworth today, where Holdsworth was talking about people accusing Matt of going to Daily Wire and selling out and going for the money. Like I never thought that was Matt's motives. Like, of course, money was, an allure to go there, but I kind of took it as Matt being ignorant of something larger that was at play there. And I do think that even with things like Hallow and bringing Catholics over to the Daily Wire, it's a very neutered version of Catholicism being presented that doesn't confront some of the tougher questions, especially the enmity between the old and new covenant and the enmity that exists between Jews and Christians. It's almost like, not that they'll even talk about it in a particular way, that they just won't talk about it and they won't discuss it. And I do think that's going to be one of the most pivotal questions going forward. So you guys are very talkative, I got to tell you.
I just like making an awkward silence for you, honestly.
It's just, you guys yell at me when I rant, and then I bring 3 people on, and I'm still alone. It's terrible.
Well, you were going. I was letting you go.
I'm just
let him cook. Why do you think Matt went to Daily Wire, Anthony?
I think that if I had to give an honest assessment, I think the podcasting is difficult. And I think it was very stressful. And I think Matt was getting to his limit of what he could handle. Because you could see he was losing his love for it. Like, and I don't want to make accusations already, but I could almost see his heart wasn't in it anymore, because it's just a lot of freaking work. Yeah. And I think somebody came to him and said, look, we'll do all the hard work. All you have to do is talk. Because if all you have to do is talk, this is a pretty fun gig. It's pretty easy. So he was presented with, look, we'll do all the hard work. All you have to do is come on and talk. You're just an on-air personality now. You don't have to do anything. That's a very tempting offer, right? And they're offering you to pay you more than you were ever making when you were doing the work on your own. Right. So I think I never put bad motives on that. Like, I think it's pretty easy answer for why he probably went there. My thing was never that Matt did something evil or that Matt sold out. My thing was more that I think there's something bigger going on that Matt may not even be aware of. I mean, it's you got Michael Knowles over there too, but I see the way Michael Knowles talks about that topic also, and it's in very political terms. Like, well, we could support the state of Israel. I think they're trying to present a version of Catholicism that is still okay with supporting the state of Israel while still drawing a theological distinction and saying, we can't say that there's 2 covenants there. They're just trying to present a kosher version of Catholicism where it's still acceptable for a Catholic to support the state of Israel. And my position is there's no scenario on earth where a Catholic can support the state of Israel like that.
Yeah, interesting. No, yeah.
So when I think he has any,
go ahead.
I was going to say, do you think he has any idea of maybe trying to work with Knowles and Walsh to try and convert Ben Shapiro?
No.
Oh, I have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. I really don't. I don't. It's not. But I would never accuse any of the three of them of being insincere Catholics. I think all three of them are very sincere Catholics and believe the faith. Like I would never ever question that. I think that there's just deeper things going on here, and it's coming out everywhere we look now. It's just the only thing that anybody's willing to talk about. And now we're going to war with Iran. And I think it was strategic to get Matt to come to the Daily Wire right before that. I mean, Daily Wire was seen as this Zionist outfit. So I think they had to improve their image. So bringing Matt over there was probably, to try and take the attention off of some of the stuff Ben Shapiro was doing.
Especially after Candace, yeah.
Candace leaves, right? And then, I think it was probably an attempt at rebranding for Daily Wire, but it was never. I never put bad motives on Matt. I never, like a lot of people accusing him of, taking 30 pieces of silver and stuff. Like that's crazy to me. That's not because Matt's show hasn't changed at all. Matt's doing the exact same.
Yeah, it's
show.
still boring as hell.
Depends on the guest, I guess.
Sorry.
There's the clip.
Yeah, I went to Seek and Matt spoke, and you can tell he's very sincere in his love for Christ.
I agree. Yeah, for sure, absolutely. Yeah, and even once he even went to the Daily Wire, like he made sure he's had like extra Catholic content, like he's like really upping the. Rob has always been bad cop. I don't know why you know that.
Rob, you're wearing a sports coat today?
Oh my gosh. Holy cow. That's an inside joke, but when we went to the conference in North Carolina,
not. You've told it 10 times. It's no longer an inside joke. You can tell it again, though.
Yeah, Rob, we were in North Carolina at the conference, and Enoch told Rob, he's like, yo, we're all wearing sports coats. You got to wear a sports coat. Rob,
we were going out to eat, and I thought it was going to be a nice place. So
Enoch tells him, yeah, everybody's dressing up, man. You got to wear a sports coat. Rob comes out. He's the only one wearing a sports coat. Enoch's in a hoodie. It's actually pretty amazing.
It was me and Kyle in a hoodie. That was funny.
Everybody hit like and subscribe. I think Enoch wants to get going. He's got a project going on at his house with all the money from the fundraiser. He's redoing his house.
I need some more cabinets. Please donate.
Please, everybody donate to Enoch's fundraiser. Rob has the link up in the chat.
In the description.
It's in the description of the show.
Samuel's book, guys. And I really appreciate everybody in here. You guys have the best audience out there, so I really appreciate you. Thank you.
We appreciate you, brother. Hopefully, we will see you this summer when we do our conference.
Yeah, absolutely. If you need help, let me know, brother.
Yeah, we're gonna need a lot of help, man.
Yeah, we definitely are.
Know.
Anthony decided we're gonna do this in 6 months.
Dude, we'll get into conference talk after Enoch gets over. All right, Enoch, all the best, brother.
Thank you, guys. God bless you.
We'll see you,
Enoch.
Peace.
Yeah, we me and Rob are getting into trying to plan this conference, and holy cow, man, it is. So I saw do you remember the first trivia show we had Steven on? Catholic comedy.
Garone?
Yeah, Steven Garone, Catholic comedy. He put out a post
otherwise
the other day,
known as
Chewbacca.
Chewbacca.
Steven put a tweet out the other day that said the reason conferences are so expensive is because of the speaker fees. And that is kind of
That's
funny.
not true. It's the food, guys.
It is the food. It is not the speaker fees. The speaker fees are reasonable.
You don't want to be cheap on the food, though.
But the thing is, so if you want to have a conference with 300 people, let's say, you're planning a wedding. Like it's essentially what you're doing. You're planning a big wedding, a 300 guest wedding. And especially if you want to do lunch and dinner. So it's like we're trying to figure out how, like, we would have loved to make the conference the cheapest conference ever. Like we're not trying to make money. It's just like, what do you do here? You have to. So I always like criticize Michael Matt for charging $400 for his conference.
Meanwhile, today Anthony realizes he needs to charge $300 if we're going to have any hope of breaking even.
Yeah, if you want to break even, you got to hit 300. Whoa. So really, Michael Matt charging 400 isn't even unreasonable. The problem is, well, you have to do dinner, Molly. That's the thing. Like you're saying, don't do dinner, but like, so what we want to do with this conference is something unique, and we want to make it so it's not all day of sitting through tedious talks. And we want to do, we're going to have like the ideal lineup, which what we're aiming for right now is Keith Nestor, Joshua Charles, Brian Holdsworth, Mike, Enoch, Rob, and myself. That's the lineup we're hoping for. And I think that's a solid conference, man. Like that's going to be a really fun time. But instead of doing hour-long talks where you're sitting there for 8 hours, I'm going to tell everybody do like a 25-minute. Yes, we're going to do the Recusit. We're not Recusit. We're going to do the lobster. Shop lobster head. Relax. Don't worry.
And knick-knack. Don't worry. We'll
Well,
get there.
if they take knickknacks, they won't want as much food.
Well, so we want to do like 25-minute talks so that you're only doing like 3 or 4 hours of talks. Then we want to do a roundtable discussion with all the guys that were speaking there. And we want to do questions from the audience. But then the rest of the time, we want to like hang out with everybody, because I've gone to a bunch of these conferences where like I wanted to meet Bishop Schneider or I wanted to meet this person. And the second they're done, they come in, they give their 40-minute talk, and then they're whisked away and you don't even get to meet them. None of the guys that are speaking at our conference want to do that. They all want to hang out and spend time with the audience. So we want to do dinner, and then we want to have a cocktail hour, and we want to just spend time. Yeah, Hitchborn too.
Ooh.
Hitchborn too. We want all the regulars on this show. Yeah,
it's a Catholic conference, not a Baptist conference. There will be drinking.
So we need a place that has dinner, and they also have to have a bar. Like they have to have a bar so that we can all go out and have a cigar and have a drink together. We're also looking to, it's going to be for men and women. So we want it to be open to everybody. We're maybe Shop Lobster will sponsor. Maybe they'll sponsor, but you can't bring outside food or beverage. That's the problem. So like, okay, so I'll give you guys an idea. Like the venue itself, they're like, oh, it's 10,000 for the room. And then 4,000 for this side room. And we're like, okay,
side rooms for vendors.
For vendors, or we want to do maybe possibly childcare. So like we want to invite people, and if you had, like, say you have 2 kids and you still want to come, you can't get a babysitter. It's like we're gonna offer some kind of an option for childcare. Rob's bringing his kids, Mike's bringing his kids. We figure we'll put all the women in the room, and you'll be able to sign your kid up for childcare, and the husband and wife can come and watch the conference. These are just like, this is like the grand idea we're aiming for.
And now we're gonna need to make that ticket more expensive to pay for childcare insurance.
Oh man, that's crazy. Yeah, it's like the amount of things that have to go into this are huge. So
yeah, Molly knew right away. She's like, what's the insurance like for childcare?
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna be able to do it. It was an idea we were throwing around. We may not be able to do it though. So
where are you planning on doing this?
We want to do it in August.
In Chicago.
Oh, in Chicago.
At
a Hilton in Chicago. So the idea is we want to have the conference. We want to have it for men and women. We don't want it to be like a men's conference, and we don't, it's not going to be anything like that. We want everybody to be able to come. And so then when you get food involved, they were like, all right, so what if we just rent the room and we cater it from outside? Because you could probably feed 300 people from a catering hall for like 10 grand. Like I had a party in my backyard, and I was able to feed 100 people for like $3 grand. And I was like, all right, so I'm asking the people, I'm like, okay, so if we rent the room, can we do outside catering? No, we don't allow outside food or beverage. I'm like, so then they send us the menu and the options, and it's like, lunch is $70 a person, and dinner is $90 a person. And now you're looking at
lunch plates for $40 for cold sandwiches.
And then on top of that price, they're like, and you get a 36% tax and gratuity charge. Then you have to pay $175 per person that's serving. And I'm just like, holy cow, we're looking at a freaking insane wedding. Like it's going to cost $100 grand to do the conference.
I mean, are you married to being in Chicago? Maybe that's the issue.
He wants it because it's the one place he's been that he knows it would work.
I know it'll work. It's the perfect venue for it. But what I think actually happens with these conferences is there's donors, right? So when I went to the Canceled Priest conference, or if you go to Michael Matt's conference, they have donors that are like, hey, I'll throw 50 grand at your conference. So that changes the whole dynamic. We don't want to do that. We never want donors. Like, you get donors and all of a sudden they're telling you what to talk about. They're telling you what speakers you have to invite. They're telling you what to do with your, we don't want that. So we're trying to figure it out for how do we do this and charge the least amount possible, where we still want, like, you still have to pay the speakers to come or they don't want to come. And we want to make it an event so good that everybody wants to come to the next one. So we're doing everything we can, but we're doing this outside the normal channels that most of these Catholic conferences happen at. So we'll figure it out. We're going to try and get sponsors. We're going to have vendors. We're going to have to make up the money that way, and we'll do that. Like, sponsors aren't donors. Sponsors are different. If a company wants to sponsor our event and they say, "Hey, I want you to do this," it's like, well, then go sponsor a different event. We're doing our event. You're not giving me money for free. We also don't have a nonprofit, right? Like, most of these places are set up as nonprofits so they can take these big donations, tax-free donations, and we can't do that.
Yeah.
So
I'll be up for this.
Maybe me and Rob will just fight
locker boxing.
There we go. Give the people what they want.
The ghostly debate finally won.
I mean, if anybody owns a company and they want to sponsor the event, we're open to it. If anybody has a company and they want to have a vendor's table, we're open to it. Like, we're starting from scratch. Anthony is all about profit. Yes, we're gonna have a chaplain also. Here's the deal: if we sell 300 tickets, it's gonna be those speakers, and we'll have a chaplain. If we sell 400 tickets, we're gonna try and get Ripper there. We're gonna try and get Ripper there. Like, if we could sell 400 tickets to this thing, we're going to aim for Ripper. And I think he might do it. I mean, I don't know. We still haven't asked him or even thrown it at him. And I don't know how busy his schedule is. But
good thing he's got a full 6 months.
But if it's not him, we'll get somebody else. Like, we'll get somebody else that's, I don't know. He's also, like, super famous now. He's not going to talk to the riffraff anymore. He don't want nothing to do with us.
Yeah, he's been on Shawn Ryan. He's made the big time.
The lineup is, we're hoping for Brian Holdsworth, Joshua Charles, Keith Nestor, and then Enoch's going to perform. I might MC it. I don't know if I'm going to talk. I'm hoping Rob's going to present the talk, but I might just like MC the whole event, tell jokes, and you guys have heard everything I have to say.
Teach you guys how to clean an AR.
I'm gonna not even highlight that. We'll see. We don't know. Yes, you will. I'll talk throughout the whole thing.
There's no question of that. Anthony will stand up in the middle of someone else's talk.
You can't stop him.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. I would definitely consider bringing Maudsley on.
Yeah.
I got a message from Father Maudsley yesterday.
Good.
He I know you guys hate my rantings, but he seems to very much enjoy them.
Did he like the Cavazos episode?
He didn't tell me about that one. He liked the episode where I explained
Father Maudsley wouldn't offer mass.
He wouldn't be our chaplain. But I would love to have him there. I would love to just have him there. But he sent me a clip and he asked if I would mind if he put it on his channel. He's going to use it. And the clip he sent me was me talking about how I think the current hierarchy is acting much like the Sanhedrin in their carnal reading of the scriptures. Mm-hmm. And he said, here's a clip that I want to use. That Anthony guy is worth listening to. I recommend you tune in. Avoiding Babylon is his channel. So we love Father Maudsley. Always supportive.
Father Nix wouldn't do it. He can do private masses outside of his diocese, but not for a whole conference.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get permission, and so it's gonna have to be we'll
have to make it legit.
Ooh, in Chicago, permission from Cardinal Supich.
Well, we could always just get Father James Martin there. He'll be our chaplain.
There he is.
This would work great. The other thing is we're not going to name it Avoiding Catholic Inc. We were like that. We were throwing that name around because it would have been really funny, but I don't want to alienate any of the speakers.
We haven't already.
Well,
you mean we don't want our speakers to be alienated?
From relationships, but there's also a chance we could get like a Father Dan Rehill.
Yeah, that'd be cool
because Mike has connections with him. So it's also you don't know what these guys charge for a speaking fee.
Yeah.
You know, like Father Rehill might get 10 grand. Who knows? It's like, I have no idea. He might do a favor for Mike and just come for whatever the other speakers are. I have no idea. We really don't know.
But instead of seek, call it hide. My gosh.
I don't know. We're throwing around like Exiles in Babylon. Like we wanted to have something to do with the channel name. Like, we were going to do Avoiding Catholic Ignorance. I was thinking like maybe Exiles in Babylon or something like that. Or I don't know. Prodigal Sons or something. I don't know. We'll see. We're going to mess around with a name and then we'll come up with a theme for it. But it'll be fun no matter what. Yeah, I should try and get Dolan, right?
Huh.
Let's see.
He's retired now, isn't he?
Dolan, yeah. That's why you might actually be able to get him.
Oh, you could. I'm sure he'd be happy.
We should do our sponsors.
Yes. Okay. So knickknacks.com. And just so you guys know that everybody actually does buy knickknacks, Sam, I assume you say, I knew it. I knew it. Our audience buys knickknacks, knickknacks.com. Would they say about the 10% thing, Rob? Did you talk to them yet?
Not more than what I've shown you.
Yeah,
They
shoot them
had
an
a
email.
couple ideas. They had 10%, 10% for everyone, right, at all times. But then they thought they could do a 25% code potentially for locals members.
Ooh.
Right?
I do like that.
So maybe
Yeah,
I'll reach out to them tomorrow.
And we're also, for the conference, we're going to give a discount to locals members. So if you want to come to the conference and get a discount, shoot over to locals also. So knickknack.com, use code AB25% for 25% off your first purchase. We're working on getting you guys who made your first purchase a deeper discount. So we're trying to get you guys an additional 10% off. Go to knickknack.com. All of us are using it. I've been handing them out at work, trying to get the guys at work hooked on them.
I've given some of the coworkers too, actually.
Yeah. Now, Knickknacks is a nicotine product, and nicotine is addictive. And I am basically the company drug dealer now, handing nicotine out to all the guys that typically use Zyn. And they come up to me and they're like, yo, you got a Zyn? I'm like, I got something better for you. And I hand them a whole box of knickknacks and they go away. And now I'm hoping they come back to me tomorrow. The other sponsor is shoplobster.com. I wanted to actually, Rob, I'm going to send it to the Telegram. My wife made
I have the picture somewhere.
Lobster fra Diablo yesterday. Diavolo. It was probably it felt wrong to eat it on a Wednesday, but it was out of this world. Shoplobster.com. I just texted Rob and I said, tell them we need another shipment. I'm more addicted to this lobster than I am to the knickknacks.
At this point, we have eaten more money's worth of lobster for them than we've sold, probably.
I think we may have. Guys, I'm not even kidding. First off, it's like really fun. I threw it into the Telegram, Rob. It's like to try different things with it. Like, so my wife just cut the lobster tails up.
Chunky.
Dude, she just made chunks of lobster in a tomato sauce. Dude, it was so freaking good. Yeah, Rob and I don't even take money from them. We just take lobster. That's how good it is. I just tell
they
them
are paying us a little money though.
A little. Well, we get like a percentage of the
of whatever
sales.
sold.
Yeah. So guys, go there. Use code AB10 for 10% off. I promise you will not be disappointed. You can use just go on and look up lobster recipes. You can't imagine how easy it is to cook lobster.
They have a lot on their website too. A lot of recipes.
And in case of chaplains and arranging TLMs of obligation, you're going to have to find a discreet and trustworthy and influential priest. Let him take care of it. Maybe Father Paracone. We could actually maybe ask Father Paracone. I do know people that can put me in touch with him. Somebody did leave a super chat. Let's see. We got a few. Rob was promised cheeseburger.
That's one of the settings.
Is Sam's book the revised Vatican II Matins or 62?
Good question. So it's neither. It's the readings from Matins as they would have been in 1955, before John the 23rd's revisions of 60.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. So pre-55 Matins. You hear nothing else? Yes, I did. I actually tweeted that clip out. We're going to try and keep this stream We're trying to stay away from that topic for an episode or two because I know Rob wants to kill me. Question coming into the church this Easter. My wife head covers every day. And when I explained it to some people at church now, all their wives look at me like I hit her. Is it that odd in Catholicism? Depends what parish you go to. So
he means every day.
I mean, I think it's always modest for a woman to cover her head. I don't think it's that crazy.
No.
But people may think that she has taken vows. Because typically, like the general population don't veil like in their everyday life. But I think modesty is a beautiful thing either way.
It's not so much that it's not common in Catholicism. It's just not common
in America.
In America and like Western Europe, like Catholics in Eastern Europe, probably cover their heads more often. As do obviously like the Orthodox in Eastern Europe. So I think it's more just it's fallen out of practice in the West in general.
I noticed something else. Ever since Bobby started dating my sister, his super chats got a lot less. We used to get like $20 super chats from Bobby, and now he's throwing $1.99 super chats in, which means my sister not only stole my friend, she's now stealing our money. I'm a little sick of this. I'm not happy about it.
Dating a woman can be expensive.
It is expensive. They tried to get me to go to Divine Liturgy Sunday. I was like, absolutely not. Get in the car. We're going to Latin Mass.
Could be East versus West in the Abate house.
I'm not happy about this. I won't go to the wedding if it's at a Divine Liturgy.
You only have yourself to blame.
Bobby, I talked to Bobby yesterday, and he's like, dude, ever since I started dating your sister, I've visited Long Island 3 times. We haven't seen each other once. Like we saw each other, but like we don't hang out. I'm like, don't worry. Next time you come in, we're gonna do something together. Yeah. So when he, Bobby, I forgot to respond to your text. I saw it this morning, but I'll respond to you after. All right. I think we're gonna wrap this one up. I think we're gonna skip locals tonight because Rob has sick kids. I'm exhausted, and we just want to make sure everybody goes out and buys Samuel's book. Put the book up again, Rob.
Yeah. Okay. Give me a second. It's gonna take a minute. While I put this up, I do plan on restarting the Lenten meditations. I just need another day of not waking up at 5 a.m. because of sick kids. So won't be tomorrow, but hopefully Saturday, if I get a little sleep, I'll be able to do them again. Why are you
not just that? We will give you guys fresh locals content. I'll have something for you guys coming up on locals. I'm really not up to it tonight. This is a hard one for me tonight because what's crazy is when I get home early, I have a harder time doing the show. So when I get home an hour before the show, I come home, I jump in the shower, I eat something real quick, and I come down. I got home at like 4 p.m. today, and I got really comfy on the couch. And before the show, I was just like, I don't want to do this. I'm tired tonight. So the Matins Lectionary, the complete readings from the Traditional Roman Breviary. This is pre-55, and that's a pretty good deal, man. And honestly,
$40 for a nice hardcover is not
nice.
Bad at all.
Yeah, nice hardcover. And
hardcover ribbon.
What made you get into this, Sam? Like, what made you go down this road?
Good question. So this actually started off as just a personal project. So I used to be a diocesan seminarian, and once I discovered the Latin Mass, I started getting into the Traditional Breviary, trying to read the Matins readings every morning, and it really nourished my spiritual life. But I hated having to use my phone to do that. So a couple of years after getting out of seminary, I decided, you know what? I've got free time. I'm going to try and make a printed version of this and start compiling things. Then I noticed the existing translations are all kind of clunky. So I thought, well, I'll use my Latin. We'll try and make a better translation, get it into one printed book. And someone told me when I was close to completion, talking to them about it, they said, hey, you should get this published. This would be a cool thing.
So why would someone buy this instead of just buying like the Baronius complete breviary?
The Baronius complete breviary, it's more than just Matins. It's a whole breviary, and it's $400.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Is
it's
it
literally
really?
10 times the cost.
This is 10 times cheaper.
It's 3 or 4 huge volumes, right?
Yeah, I think it's three really thick volumes, but it's really cool. That's the one I started off on when I started doing the Traditional Breviary, but that's not cheap.
But like getting up and waking up in the morning and just doing Matins is probably such an amazing practice. Just to start your day off with prayer and praying with the church. Like it's probably just such a good spiritual practice to do. I mean, for everybody that because I struggle just even praying my rosary, but if I could just wake up, yeah, that's crazy.
There's the
Yeah, there you
go. $400.
That's cool. And another thing that this has that Baronius's breviary does not is Baronius's breviary is the 1962 version, which is missing 2/3 of the readings.
Oh, really?
$400.
Yeah. John the 23rd removed 2/3 of them in 1960 to make it shorter, easier to pray for clerics. So it made sense. But at the same time, he said, hey, priests should still read these patristic readings somewhere. And there was no supplement ever put out for that. So this kind of is that.
So Matins includes obviously scripture, right? But what, like when you say patristic readings, what does it have in there?
So if there's a saint's feast day, there's going to be the life of that saint, or if it's a feast in which it's not life of a saint, like dedication of a church or something, it'll be a history of that thing. And for every feast, or most feasts, there's also going to be a little snippet of the gospel of the day and something by one of the church fathers about the gospel of the day, a reflection on it.
I gotta say, man, I'm really touched by how supportive everybody is of this project of yours. Like you have a lot of Sam fans. Sam's been around for a very long time. Yeah, he used to slay in the chat on
trivia nights.
On trivia, and it was like, who was it that came in that started doing really good too? That gave you a run for your money.
Was it
always between?
Well, there was Brendan, who was
who came on.
Came on once. There was Tobias, Sam, obviously. Not sure.
I thought it was White Wolf.
No, not White
Wolf.
No,
not White Wolf.
Get the heck out of here. It wasn't White Wolf. He was terrible.
He was too busy playing as Hitler and Axis and Allies.
Yeah. No, there was somebody. Why can't I remember? Oh man, are we gonna have to bring back trivia?
It was 4 years ago.
Yes, you have to bring back trivia. It's great.
It was fun. It was fun trivia, man. It was
you should get Hitchborn on trivia.
Oh,
we did. Like there was a time where we were getting like other Catholic podcasters to be like one guest of the many that we would have. And
it's been a while since I've seen Faith in the chat.
Yeah, Faith. It's been a long time, but it was a fun way to get our channel started because it was different than anything anybody else was doing, and it was a good reason to invite people on and get guests of that were doing Catholic commentary at the time, to just get them to come on and have fun. And the whole thing was just making fun of each other. Like,
hold on, I have an idea for the conference.
Live
Anyone
trivia
that's there Friday night, live trivia.
Live trivia would be fun.
That would be fun.
So the other thing is, so the conference is going to be on Saturday. It's going to be on Saturday, but we're going to be there Friday. We're not doing like a VIP charge or anything, but anybody that comes in Friday, we're hanging out Friday night. So we're not because the idea was thrown out, hey, should we do like a VIP thing? It's like, no, we're going to be there Friday. If anybody wants to come Friday night, we'll be there Friday night. We'll hang at the bar. It's going to be, I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of people driving in for Saturday morning if they're local enough. Like even if it's a 4 or 5 hour drive, people will probably be driving in. But if you get there Friday night, we're going to just be out hanging out all night on Friday night. So, Ant is considering trivia. I knew Latin Slavs is a false anti-trivia. Rob never surrendered the Munis.
Because we did pass it on to them. And
we tried. Those guys just suck. They don't know their catechism, man. Converts that don't know the faith. It was terrible. I would have liked to pass the baton to somebody who would have treated it with reverence. It would have been funny. You know what I mean by reverence, not like actual reverence, but like carried the tradition of how we did the show, because our trivia was different than anybody else's. So,
well, it's like whose line is it anyway, where the points don't matter.
Yeah, it didn't. Like, I don't care how good you were. One of the most fun parts of it was giving the prize to somebody who sucked. like just picking some random person, and be like, "You're the winner tonight." Oh man. This guy's really Faith and Film was fun too. We'll have to maybe bring that series back. Maybe we'll get different guests on for it. We'll get Father Nick's back too. Yeah, I mean, anybody that like from our audience that wants to start a trivia channel, like we'll help you. We'll help you promote it. We'll come on as guests. You just got to have it in you to be the host and follow my advice, not Kyle's. Remember when Kyle hosted it? You picked the hardest freaking questions in the world. Nobody knew the answer to any of it. It was the worst episode of trivia ever.
It's at that point he knew he wanted to be a Vatican digital missionary.
Yes, it certainly is. All right, we're gonna wrap this one up, man. We will see you guys on Tuesday. We'll come back with some good stuff.
This is a good question, and we don't have the answer for you yet because we're
no. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a pre-sale, and we'll offer a discount on pre-sale, and we'll also offer a discount on Locals members. Ooh, Locals members will get a discount, and then we'll do like a short pre-sale thing. We'll give it like a 2-week shot. If anybody wants to come, we'll give you guys 2 weeks to get the discount. So we still have to figure out what that's going to be. And yeah, there's still a ton of details. We have a meeting with Mike tomorrow, Mike Pantile, and we're going to try and hammer some of these details out. The first quote we got from this place was so astronomical. I was just like, absolutely not. So I called them back, and I'm kind of negotiating with them to see if we might do like a boxed lunch, and then we'll do a buffet for dinner. Maybe that'll bring the price down a little bit. We're working on it, guys. We're working on it. It's going to be a legendary conference, and you're going to get to it's going to be different than any other Catholic conference. That's all I'll tell you. So go buy Sam's Breviary and join us on Tuesday night. We will see you guys next time. Take us out, Rob.